introduce our speaker. If you, we have a few more minutes before we get started, so make sure that you grab your pen and paper. Make sure that you open your mind up to the information and to the knowledge. Make sure that you use the restroom if you have to, so you don't take any breaks, because we don't want to take any breaks. We want to get every single piece of nugget that this phenomenal gentleman has to share with us tonight, because it will be nugget after nugget after nugget, and there will be a piece of information that will speak specifically to you. Every time I go to a training, like tonight, I was listening to Mrs. Tanya Lawrence present, and I heard her say, if you're building a team, you're building an investment club, and that sank in, right? Because I always think of team of investors, but building your own personal investment club. There's pieces of nuggets that you get from every single speaker. And there's so many nuggets to glean from Mr. Bean. If you're taking notes or if you're absorbing, go ahead and let me know on Facebook where you're chiming in from. Let me know on Zoom where you're chiming in from, because we're excited about being global and being able to have individuals across the globe listening to Millionaire Mindset, a global impact where folks around the globe can learn from a multimillionaire himself how to think so that you can accomplish. Yes, we have Forrest, Mr. Forrest from St. Louis, winning from St. Louis. Welcome, welcome to Millionaire Mindset. My name is Dr. Arlene George. I am your host tonight, but I am not the main event. The main event is Mr. Samuel Bean. He's going to teach us tonight from the book of Bean. And I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're taking mental notes, visual notes, writing notes. I also see we have 𝐍𝐎� Fuller from North Central Maryland. Welcome to Millionaire Mindset. Where our speaker, it's just called Jeff. Okay, got it. Millionaire Mindset, where we're going to learn tonight from Mr. Samuel Bean. Take notes, get something to drink. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Welcome, 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 Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm also hailing from Maryland as well. We have Dallas in the house. We have St. Louis in the house. We have Pennsylvania in the house. We have Maryland in the house. We have Florida in the house. So, and we're going to continue to press forward. I know that we have Texas in the house as well. We're going to continue to press forward, be excited. So when Mr. Bean comes on, make sure you give him some 4-5s, because he had the foresight. Mr. and Mrs. Bean had the foresight to have a vision of having 10,000 families earn $5,000 a month in passive income. And we are part of that vision. We are part of that vision. And he also has the vision of, I believe he said at least 25 millionaires from this group. And that is why he is taking his time out. Even though he has accomplished financial independence, he is taking the time out to transfer that mindset to us so that we can continue to go out and help to find those 10,000 families to earn $5,000 a month in passive income. And that to me offers a lot of families freedom, breathing space, room to breathe and grow and nurture as a family. So welcome to Millionaire Mindset. Hopefully there will be a few nuggets that you will take and you will apply and grow from, because the gentleman that you're about to hear from has not only created a financial legacy for his family, He is creating a group of individuals who are also a financial legacy and dynasty for their families and their friends and their community. He has taken investments to over millions of dollars in a very short period of time. He is the senior vice president with SCF, I want to say Fintosh still, with the SCF opportunity. And not only is he financially free, and his wife, and Miss Carly likes to call him Mr. Samuel Bean. Let's see if he's ready. Let's go. Let's give him some 4 5s, 4 5s, 4 5s. Mr. Bean, are you ready? If not, we can keep on going.
Let me see if I can get this thing started here. Let me see.
All right, all right. The GOAT, ladies. And gentlemen, let's put some 4 5s together. Let's get some hand clapping together. Let's get some whoop, 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 whoop together so that Mr. Bean can feel our energy, that we are excited about him being on tonight, that we are excited about hearing what he has to say, that we're awake. Turn those cameras on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's get these nuggets from the great Mr. Samuel Bean, our fearless leader, paving the way.
1 second, I'm having one technical difficulty here with this screen.
Okay.
It won't be but a second.
All right, not a problem at all. I feel like I should be playing, we're in the winner's circle right now. Because that's exactly where we are. Take this information, apply this information, and we are all winners. We are all winners. We all win. So I hope you have your pen and paper. I hope you hear the drum roll, right? Brrr. I hope you hear it, right? I hope you're excited. I hope your energy level is up. Your minds are open, ready to be expanded. I see we have the crazy Cajun in the house. I know he's hearing the drum rolls as well. He's probably doing a drum roll himself. And we also have Carly Gwen on the line, our CEO of Fun. She's probably smiling from ear to ear, because one of the things that I know, I remember all the time about Carly says that Mr. Bean, Mr. and Mrs. Bean are 2 individuals in her life who've kept every promise that they've made to her. Every promise that they've made to her. And that's integrity. That's character. To have someone who's known them for over a decade say that they have kept every single promise. Yes, sir, I hear you. Uh-oh. All right, I see we have Miss Dorena Sloan in the house. Welcome. We have Jeff Fuller. I see we have Miss Iris Johnson in the house as well, and Jeremy Dennis and Lisa. Oh, we do have one of our newest GMs on the line, Mrs. Lisa Ducksworth. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Millionaire Mindset, where we're going to hear from Mr. Samuel Bean, and he's going to drop nugget after nugget. We have Mr. Marvin Pitts on here as well. We have Omi. Oh, I'm excited about being able to hear from Mr. Bean tonight, because I'm telling you, it's a Tuesday that felt like a Monday, and I am so ready for those nuggets. If you're ready for those nuggets, put some 4 5s in the chat, put some hearts in the chat, put some fire in the chat. Same thing on Facebook. If you are ready for those nuggets, put some, yes, Jeremy, give up those 4 5s. Lisa, giving up the 4 5s. Yes. On Facebook, giving up the 4 5s. Mr. Beckett, giving up the 4 5s. Exactly. Yes, I even see some hearts from Mr. Forrest and Sarah George giving up the 4 5s. Yes, let's show Mr. Bean how excited we are. He's having technical difficulties, and I know he's probably more mad at himself than anything else, because he really wants to bring this information to us, because he knows that this information, just one piece of one nugget, can change can flip that switch, can take you, when water boils at 212. And what Mr. Bean is working at with us is if we're at 210, giving us that extra 2 degrees so that we start to boil and we are on fire. That's what he's ready to give us tonight. So make sure you're bringing the energy. Make sure you're bringing the smiles. Make sure that he can see that you're actually taking notes, right? Make sure that he can see it in your eyes, that you are paying attention to what he has to say tonight, because his intent and his heart is to be able to give you the information that can change your life. Welcome to Millionaire Mindset. Welcome to Millionaire Mindset. As a man thinketh, so is he. Yes, the extra 2 degrees is the game changer. Exactly. Crazy. See, Crazy Cajun has it right. He's like, look, I know how to boil that crawfish, and I know I need those extra 2 degrees to bring that to a boil, right? And the right seasonings, the right ingredients is so that when you actually crack it open and you bite into it, it melts in your mouth. That's what this information can do. If you absorb it, if you take it in, if you let it change you, if you let this process, this system change you, every opportunity that you get to be able to associate with a millionaire, a multimillionaire, take it. If you're really comfortable in your circle, then you're probably hanging around the wrong people. You need to be around people who stretch you like the beans. You need to be around people who
stretch you like Dr. Arlene at George. That's what I'm talking about. Dr. Arlene, I got it. Thank you very much. I had to reboot the system because Zoom thought they had somebody that wasn't on purpose online. So again, we always talk about it, guys. Anytime you get ready to do something amazing, something extraordinary, something great, you get confronted by violent opposition. And tonight, guys, I'm glad it actually happened because, the thing I want to talk about is going to be, congruent with that challenge. And so before I get into that, guys, again, thank you for your patience. Glad you guys held on. But I am Samuel Bean. Guys, I am the person you're going to be communicating with here tonight. You guys are going to be listening to me tonight. I'm going to give you guys some things that you can go out here and build a future on. And the topic of discussion tonight is, again, unchaining the speaker and the leader in you. So hold on to that one. Okay. But for those of you who are first timers, those of you who are new to the show, guys, welcome. Glad to have you here. This is the Millionaire Mindset. This is where we come every week without fail to make sure you guys get fed. Like yesterday was a holiday. Okay. It was Labor-less Day. And so we decided to make sure we didn't have a Millionaire Mindset call on that day. The only thing we had on that day was somebody who wanted to serve the team. This is Carly Gwynn, who did an amazing job, by the way. Guys, give us some 4 or 5s for doing that presentation yesterday for people who, say, what, I don't want to take a day off. Okay, I want to be able to earn the right to take every day off. And so Carly Gwynn lit it up, gave some powerful information for those who had guests, and then she went back to her sunny evening over there, cool evening over there in Orlando, Florida. Okay. But again, guys, this is an investment club situation here you guys are a part of. And when you look at, who we are, we talk about that word foresight, it means vision. And when you look at, us, like Dr. Arlene said, we know that you're rich before you do. Okay. And that's just not some catchphrase, some catch line. We just understand that you were born for greatness. We were understanding that you were born as a king, born as a queen. And some of you guys just haven't realized that yet. Okay. And so we want to make sure we bring that out of you. Okay. And also, when you look at, pride, and pride is an acronym. I love acronyms, but pride, PRIDE, is producing residual income in a down economy, right? And everything that I do, all my acronyms and all my affirmations, all that stuff are designed specifically, okay, to make sure I'm focused and on purpose with everything that I do, okay? And so, again, we already understand that we're in a hard time globally. And we get a chance to go out and help people worldwide from the comfort of our homes from behind our cell phones and laptops and iPads and MacBooks and tablets and stuff like that on Zoom. And so tonight, again, this is going to be another one of those things. But in order for you to go out there and do big things, you have to have big goals. And you have to have a mission. And our mission, again, is Project 10,000. And for those of you who don't know what that is, Project 10,000 is us over the next 2 years to 3 years, helping 10,000 families get to $5,000 a month of residual recurring income. Okay. And guys, I'm gonna just tell you right now, with the way that technology is evolving, it's a whole lot easier for people to make money. You'll see people who never made more than $25,000 a year, $35,000 a year, make that in a month, and some will make that in a week. And guess what? Here in this situation, guys, we already have people making that in a day. Okay. And so it's not about claims. Again, this is not a presentation. So I'm not here to sign you up. I just want to make sure that you understand what you actually have your hands on. Okay. And so that's important. Also, want to make sure we give you guys a real good reminder. We are in the midst of continuing to book out the rooms on the cruise. So that July trip that you see them post and talk about at the end of every presentation, you want to make sure you get your cabin. You want to make sure you start your payment plan. You want to make sure that you go ahead and get your spot so you can cruise with the beans, guys. And when we go out here and let our hair down, we let our hair down. We work hard, as you guys know, putting this system together and making sure things are functioning and working for you guys. But when we let our hair down, that's what we do. Okay. Another thing we want to talk about here is one of the things we talked about 2 years ago when we first launched this, this actual club. And remember, we have our mogul, lifetime. We have our mogul series, and the mogul series, guys. Talk about mogul. You're talking about money. Talk about lifestyle. Talk about mindset. And one of them is mogul money, where we talk about nothing but money that weekend: insurance, real estate, technology, agriculture, investing, all crypto, all kind of stuff, right? That day. And then we enjoy the rest. We enjoy paradise for the rest of the trip. 1 day event. Okay? Then you have, mogul weekend leadership boot camp, where we teach people how to launch companies and launch, groups, investment groups and investment clubs, right? Investment portfolios. Right? And then you have mogul lifestyle weekend, where there's no training. There's just the experience of living. Okay. Putting yourself in a position where you're out there letting your hair down, you are enjoying the fruits of your labor, right? And you're connecting and networking with people who are like-minded individuals, and you guys are just talking about the stories, that you guys created on the way to that experience. And we just got back from Cancun, like Dr. Arlene was saying, and she gave you guys a couple of nuggets and a couple of quotes. She's very, very resourceful. There's a reason why she's successful, but you get a chance to actually have those conversations. We were on a 110-foot yacht, and that's the second time we've actually had it as an organization. But we also did a nice, when I say really, really nice would be an understatement, dinner, where we had a chef come in from another city in Mexico, and he brought his team of chefs, 3 of them total, and they cooked us everything that we wanted, guys: lobster, steak, fajitas this, fajitas that, just, and everything that they had. The flavor was just popping out of your mouth, right? Just exploding in your mouth, right? Let me just say that. But those are the experiences and things that we like to do. And we talked about, at some point in time, just taking a trip, right, every 3 months, if not every 2 months, but at least 3, 4 times a year, where we just go somewhere. Okay? And Mrs. Bean and I, we, again, just going back to what we've been talking about, and going back to the purpose, and going back to what's going to really help people unchain the speaker and unchain the leader in them. Okay? Go out there and evolve, and go out there and become the person you were born to be. And that's why I asked you guys a question. What are the top 3 places that you would like to travel, right? What's on your bucket list? What's on your vision board? Hey, what do you want to take your kids? Okay, what do you want to take your spouse? What do you want to have your girls trip at? What do you want to have your guys trip at? What do you want to take your crew, right? What Australia, Dale? I see it. So it's like, we want to know those places: Dubai, Alaska for Beverly Pitts, as well as Australia, Egypt, and Spain, and Dubai for Diana. Thank y'all for answering those questions. Okay, Senegal, Kemet, for Carlowin, and Belize. Okay. And see, these are the things, guys, where that Mrs. Bean and I, you guys know how we work, behind the scenes. You know how we evolve things, and you know how the most important thing to us, outside of your success, is keeping our word. And so, boy, keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming, because there's some places that are on your radar that's not on everybody else's radars. But also, what it gives us is some congruency. It gives us an opportunity to see what are they saying that, okay, 80% of the people said this, 75% of the people said this, 10% of the people said this. You guys may be picking your next destination vacation, right? And that's the cool thing about what happens when you have an organization of people who have no financial limitations. See, when you were in network marketing, people, when you did a presentation, the first thing that they said was, if money was no object, if money was was not a challenge, if money, you had all the money in the world, or you had unlimited supply of money, where would you go? Okay. And you had people who, they started to dream again. And then when they had to go to work, they stopped. Okay. They started to dream again, and they started writing stuff down. They started to feel real good, feeling real nice, warm and fuzzy with it. And when they had to go talk to a friend, a family member, or somebody, try to sell a product or something like that, all of a sudden, that no stole their dream, right? And most people, again, even though they wrote it down, they didn't even believe it, because they figured that, you know what, only 5-10% of people in this country gonna make enough money to go somewhere anyway, or get to a rank to where they're gonna take them and pay for it. And that's just not gonna be me. I'm not gonna make that type of money. I'm not gonna hit that type of rank. I'm not gonna qualify for any of this stuff. So why should I do it? Okay. And so, guys, this is what I want you guys to do. And I want you guys to commit to. Dream again. Open up, and say, you know what? Not only where am I going, but who am I going with? Who on my team am I taking with me? Who am my family am I taking with me? Are my kids going? Are we punting the kids and leaving them with the dog, the cat, and the auntie? What are we doing? Right. So yeah, what I'm saying? How many days are we staying? 3 days, 7 days, whatever it is, right? You have to start to have these thoughts, guys. You have to have these conversations as well. You got to have these affirmations as well, right? And so that's very, very important. And I want you guys to understand that when you look at these presentations and you see the system evolve out, and you see at the end of those presentations that, we have a Grant Cardone program that's helping people with skill sets, right? And then we have, the earnings and automation system that's given to you guys for free in the form of a Millionaire Mindset call, and moments that we have when we're doing coachings, 3-ways, lifelines, and crash camps, right? And then you have, the upcoming vacation, that we got coming. Okay. Guys, think about this for a second. This time, not even this time next year, but think about 6 months from now. Okay. We're on our second trip. And the cool part about it is everybody who's here now can afford it. And think about the fact that a lot of y'all are calling in sick or slick, depending on who you work for and how much you like your job, right? And they can't get you to come to work because they can't afford to make you change your mind. They lucky you still work there. Okay. These are the type of thoughts you need to start having now, and put yourself in a position. So, you know what, 6 months from now, I'm at $20,000 a month. I'm at $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month. So when we come back from that trip, you know what, it's somewhere else I want to go without everybody. Because traveling is an education, right? When you actually go, you start moving around the world, you be amazed at what you learn about yourself, right? But you also be amazed at what you can teach people around you who are not used to that type of lifestyle. You be afraid, or you literally, guys, are in a position to empower a lot of other people. This is not just about unchaining your potential, unlocking your potential. This is really about, opening up life for people who haven't lived a day in their life. You got a lot of people just been existing, wandering generalities, people who have been working a 9-to-5 since they've been a teenager. You have people who were working before they were a teenager, working with mom, dad, helping them out with stuff. You have been people that have been working their whole entire life that don't have a clue when it comes to knowing how to dream. Right? And so make that a priority, guys. And make that a priority. So one of the things that we're going to do when it comes to this week when it comes to putting you guys in a position to where you can do that. And the best way to unlock and unchain somebody's potential and the greatness in that individual is to find out what's holding that person back. Okay? As a leader, you definitely want to find out, okay, in my inventory of human beings and this portfolio of people who have all these goals and dreams, why do I only have one person presenting, and that's me? Okay. So that's the question. Again, some of you guys are the only person in your group who are presenting. And some of you guys, and when I'm talking to the builders right now, I'm not talking to the pure investors, guys. And I want to make sure, and this information I'm about to give you guys who are not recruiters here, who are not building a portfolio, what I'm going to teach today, you'll be able to learn, you'll be able to use in other parts of your life when you're communicating with people. So again, don't jump off. Again, you may learn more and be impacted more than anybody else on here. So the fear is what keeps most people, if not all people, from doing anything and everything that they need to. Okay, when you look at that fear of public speaking, guys, that's one of those things that you've learned that you can unlearn. And we're gonna talk about how to do that. But we all know that action is the enemy of fear. So one of the first actions you can take when it comes to presenting is just watching a presentation with somebody. Okay. One of the presentations and one of the actions you can take is sending it to somebody, just using the system. First of all, getting people, excited about watching what you're about to send them, right? Being able to, again, edify it, being able to campaign for it. Because that's the thing, most people, you don't know how to create a value for something that you don't have value for. Okay. How do I know you don't have value? Because your belief is congruent with the actions that you've taken thus far. And some of you, again, your belief level is down here where you have 0 to 5 presentations a month. That's no belief. Okay. People who have 3 to 5 presentations a day, they have max belief. They are here killing it. People who are in the middle, you have 1 presentation a day, you believe. Okay. But as you believe bigger, you do more. Okay. But also as you believe bigger, you campaign better. If you voted for somebody because of the campaign. Campaign manager was great at what they did. Okay? And they made sure that person had a handler that protected that person and told them what to say, told them what not to say. And that's what they're supposed to do. They have PR people to protect them, as much as possible. And again, that's what your leaders are supposed to do for you. That's what the system is supposed to do. The system is supposed to protect you, prepare you for debates and campaign and all this other stuff. And that's what I want you guys to look at, this system as. Okay, that the ATM in the Facebook group, guys, SCF has ForeSight, earnings on automation. This actual training is live in there. Okay, Tanya's presentation and Carly's presentation, all those presentations go live in those groups. So your people are being presented to, and some of you don't know that. And some of you don't have people being presented to because some of you don't have people in the system. Okay. So the system can't work for you. Remember, the system has never failed anybody. The people fail the system. If the system is making millions of dollars for other people and it's not making millions of dollars for you, that means that you're not making your contributions. That means that you're not making your deposits. Like ATM, if you put money in the bank, you can take money out, right? Okay. Well, your capital in this situation, in this scenario, okay, is people. That's the one thing that you have an unlimited supply of. And that's one thing that, when you put those people in that bank, the bank, remember, money is supposed to do what? Grow and mature in the bank, right? So if you're putting people in the ATM in the bank, in the system, right? What are they supposed to do? Grow and mature, right? They're supposed to evolve. They're supposed to gain and increase in value, right? And that comes from, educating people and preparing people, for what's to come. So if you have people that's in the ATM as guests and prospects and you're not campaigning the ATM properly, you're not giving extreme value to the ATM and what this investment club really is and what they're going to take out of it, then you're going to lose. Okay? You're going to lose because when you put a person in it's like you just put in the bare minimum of the account just to keep the account open. Okay. And if the fees hit, they'll close down the account, which means that if there's no value on that person, they don't see any value because they weren't prepared properly, they'll turn off the notifications, or they'll leave the ATM. Everything you do in life, guys, you can find a parallel to. Okay. And so I want to make sure you guys understand this system, first of all, is for those of you who just want to drop a couple of people in. You're not a presenter. You want people to be around the information, the energy, and you want them to one day wake up and realize that they have their hands on something that you couldn't articulate, but it's okay because you leaned on the system. Okay. So system, guys, acronym for what? Save yourself time, energy, money, and stress. So systems is something that I believe in wholeheartedly. Okay. The system is the reason why I don't have to present 5 days a week, because I have 5 amazing presenters to actually present. Carly presents on Mondays. Tanya presents on Tuesdays. Dr. Arlene presents on Wednesdays. Dr. Marika presents on Thursdays. There is no Friday. Fridays, when we actually have a presenter or we have an interview or something that's real special, it'll be midday and it'll be called, the happy hour presentation. All right. And then you have Saturday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, Lashanique Delcourt out of California, ripping it up. Okay. Not just for our millennials, but for, people my age as well. Right. And then you have Sundays, and Sundays is going to be, again, one of those off schedule deals when we have somebody who wants to actually contribute, or we have something special, or we have an interview we want to do. It's going to be midday and it's going to be called Sunday brunch. Okay. And so that's going to be the brunch time presentation. Right. And so we have a system that's going to work for you guys. The machine is back on. Okay. And so feel, again, just put yourself in a position where you must use the system. You have to use the system. You don't have a choice but to use the system, and watch what happens. Okay, watch what happens. Now, when you look at the other side, you look at the people who are actually looking to build. For those of you I want to address now, those of you I want to make sure that you want to be the reason for the season. You want to be the one that says, you know what, I'm going to grow this thing as big as I can, grow this thing and make as much money as I can in a shorter period of time as possible. I want to master doing presentations. Okay? It's not as hard as you think. It is not. I'm gonna just tell you one thing you have to do, to be able to do great presentations, is you just have to be willing to be bad before you're good. You got to be willing to do a horrible presentation before you can do a great one, right? And I'm gonna just tell you, all the greatest presenters out there in the world, they still make mistakes. I make a lot of them. But I don't care. Okay? When people see that you're making mistakes, they know that you're human. And guess what they'll do? They'll start doing presentations, because if they see you winning, making mistakes, then guess what? They know that they don't have to be perfect. And it's okay. Like an average person with what just happened would have been all frazzled, came in here like, oh my God, guys, I'm just, and they kind of catch their breath and everything. No, there's no such thing as a SCF emergency. I'm already in. My main account does over $1,000 a day. I have no reason to be upset, frazzled, razzled. And no, I'm just going to get on here and talk to you guys like I was making $5,000 a day and $50,000 a day. Because at the end of the day, guys, I'm already in. The money is already being made. I don't have to convince anybody. And that's the thing that you got to walk into this presentation, understanding that, one, you don't need any one particular person. Okay. All you need are people who see the vision. That's all you need. People who see the vision, guys. See, and if you go out there, you tell enough people, hey, this is what we got our hands on. Hey, this is how simple it is. Hey, look at this screenshot. Hey, look at all the information we got in ATM. Hey, watch this video. And again, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and boom, they're going to be like, hey, thank you. Right? And then they're going to go do exactly what you did. It's a numbers game, but the most important number in the game is one, you. Tell you, that's why most people win. They count on themselves. They get the information that they need and they go bananas with it. Remember, opportunities like this, guys, they don't come around every day. As a matter of fact, they say the opportunity of a lifetime is only around for the lifetime of the opportunity, right? At some point in time, those windows close. And while you are hesitating and procrastinating, contemplating, okay, that opportunity is going away because the world's not going to slow up, so you can catch up. And you got to start catching up now. You got to start closing the gap right now. And it starts with, again, making a decision to go do what's required. 1, 2, making a decision to go out there and be bold. Be bold. Okay. So I came up with a method many years ago. And it was because I needed a blueprint to present. Okay. I was never the most articulate. I never enunciated, or articulated, anything on a high level. Run-on sentences, just everything was just crazy, right? So I had to learn how to actually put on a presentation, not because I wanted to be great at speaking, but because I wanted to be great at leading. Okay, because when you are a presenter, you are a leader. When you are a speaker and you're speaking on behalf of your people, you are a leader, period, because you're doing something that they are afraid to do. You're doing something that they can't pull themselves to do at this very, very moment, but they can see you doing it. And now their leader is in front of the room. They can go out here and promote for you, and they can look up to you because, again, you're doing what's courageous. You're being bold. Okay. And so when you look at this method that I'm gonna show you, I actually had it on a index card, and the method is SCHEME. Okay. And it's just like the form technique, guys. For those of you who are familiar with the form technique, it doesn't matter what order you put it in, for the most part. It's just an acronym to make sure you're reminded of what that presentation should contain, okay, and who you need to be while you're in that presentation. Okay, so I'm gonna go over a couple of things here. So when you look at the SCHEME method, I'm gonna go ahead, and some of this is gonna be new for a lot of y'all. Okay, even if those of you who actually heard this, again, anytime you are creating systems, anytime you're creating methods, every time you look at it, every time you do it, it evolves, right? It gets better because you get better. Okay, so when you look at the SCHEME method, the first S in SCHEME is to make sure that you speak on purpose. Okay, speaking on purpose. I'm gonna just tell you right now, guys, you got to stay away from the rabbit holes, because a lot of us run down rabbit holes and we talk and we talk and we talk and we talk. And most of you don't understand that you're talking not because you know what you're talking about. You're talking because you're nervous. Okay. And you allowed yourself to be in that position because you weren't prepared. That's why I don't care anything about walking around with an actual index card with that method on it. Like I have a picture on Facebook with as a speaker, boom mic right here, very nice suit, tie, pocket square, and a green piece of paper that's folded in half with my notes on it. And I didn't care because I cared that the people got the message. I didn't care about how I looked and how I sounded and how professional I was, or how philosophical I sound, or how profound I sound. I don't care anything about all that. That's what people in network marketing care about. Okay, how they look, how they come off, their image. Okay, I want you to know I care enough about you to read off the paper, not necessarily the whole entire presentation, but some bullet points that kept me on track and kept me on purpose. Okay, this is the first thing, because it was my biggest challenge. Okay, when you talk about scatterbrain, million thoughts and things like that running through my brain, at one time it was a mess. It was a mess. There was a time where, and going back to fear, there was a time where I did a presentation. Some of you guys have heard this story before, and some of you guys are here for the first time. It's going to be funny every time. But this is where self-deprecation kicks in, and you can now let people see they can win through your scars, right? And I had a speaker who would speak for me all the time, right? 100% of the time. I wasn't going to speak. And they were coming to my house one day to do a home meeting, and And we had 3 guests there. I knew 2 of them, and one was one of Kim's co-workers. And they called to say, "Hey, we're running late, man. It's gonna be about 45 minutes before we get there." And I was like, "Okay, I'll wait till you get in. We'll wait till you get in, right? No problem. They ain't going nowhere." He's like, "No. They are there. They are on time. Start the presentation." I didn't start the presentation. This is what I did. I locked myself in a room, right? And we had a product called 𝐷𝐿, right? And it's supposed to relieve stress. And you're supposed to take like a little capful, no more than that per day, right? And Tim know what I'm talking about. So I was in my bedroom. I had my notes scattered all over the bed. This is before we had tablets, right? iPads and stuff like that. I had like 12 pages of notes, great notes that I've taken, transitional phrases, all that stuff. And I'm bombarding my brain with all this information, and all these notes are right here in my frontal lobe, and it's like they're all forcing its way out. And I'm shooting the 𝐷𝐿 like it's tequila. I'm only supposed to take 1 capful. I'm shooting the doc. I'm just like, man, I'm stressed out. I'm like, this has got to work at some point in time. And before you know it, it's 45 minutes. Then pass by. We get a doorbell ring, and I'm still locked in the room. Kim goes to the door, says, "Hey." She comes back. She said, "They're here." I said, "Good, they can present." She said, "No, they can't." She said, "You ain't gonna embarrass me. I'm gonna go present." All right. And so, and I said, "You know what? All right, I got it. I'll do it." So I walked out. I did the first half of the presentation, and then we had big old flip. So like you see this board right here, we had flip boards almost that size. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You had the tri stand, and you got big old panels like this, and you pulling them out your thing, and you got them up there, and I'm moving them one at a time. And I'm moving them one at a time, and I'm doing it, I'm pointing, and I'm reading, and my notes are kicking in, and I'm feeling good. Everything is flowing, and then I do the edification, and I bring up my speaker. And when I say, "This is what leadership is," he says, "Guys, give it up for Sam." He said, "Guys, stand up, give it up for Sam." There's only 3 people in the room, first of all, but my 3 guests, my leader, his leader, and a guest that's in my upline. So everybody stood up, gave me a round of applause. And now how y'all like how Sam talked about all these products behind me here? I didn't talk about a product. I forgot 100% of the products. He came through there and cleaned up everything I messed up, right? But that day was the day I learned a lesson in my life. And I'm sitting there talking to my other leader while he was up here in front of the room. And he said, "Hey, look, if you're going to ever be a leader and make millions of dollars, it's going to be by serving your people. You can't be scared to present, because you won't be able to serve your team. If I have to do all your presentations, he got to do all your presentations, you're not going to have a team. They'll never look at you as a leader. They'll never follow you. They'll never believe in you. They're always looking for us, which means that your business is always my business, is his business, which means that's always way more work for us. So do your job." He said, "Go here. Here's a book to go read. Here's an audio to go listen." And he gave me some information to go listen to. And guess what? It started to fix me. And I started to make better decisions, and I started to get prepared. And I started to do what was required to actually be able to give a proper presentation. Right? But I was on purpose. Every presentation, I knew I spoke fast. So what I did was I would go in the bathroom. I would do 2 things. I would pray, and I would read something very, very slow. So when I spoke normal, and I would do it for like 3 to 5 minutes. So when I spoke normal, which would normally be fast, it would come out at a pace and a tone, a pitch where everybody can really receive it, hear it clearly, right? I was able to stop, and instead of running like some of y'all run stop signs, I was running past my periods, my exclamation points and stuff like that. Yeah, during it was bad. So trust me, it was bad. When I say it was bad, it was bad. Probably, boy, look, you probably like, boy, look at him now. I can't believe it. Night and day, right? But you got to start somewhere, right? So speak on purpose, guys. Speak on purpose, speak on purpose. The other part of that story is this. After we had that conversation, my wife and I, we went to Cheddar's. Do you remember the restaurant? I pitched the waiter. His name was Jerome Gorman. And we met him, set up an appointment, and we went to 𝐍𝐎𝐓 And my wife was sitting here to my left. He was sitting across the table. I'm doing a presentation. I'm pointing and reading. And I think I'm just killing it. And my wife is killing my leg up under the table. She kicking me and kicking me and kicking me like, man, you messing this thing all the way up, right? And so, but he got in. I had a sore leg, but I had a new recruit, right? So I do his first presentation at his house. So he had like 7 or 8 people at his house, me and my big boards. And guess what? 4 of those people got in. And I'm telling you guys this for a reason, because this is the reason. We got to the big meeting, okay, at the hotel, and there's 200 people in there, and I got all my people on the front row like I was taught, right? And as the projector's right here in the middle, it was me, my guy, and we had a whole row of 8 people and 2 people behind us. And a guy named Aaron Gray who was speaking. Aaron was my prototype when it came to speaking. That's what I wanted to be like when I grew up, because he was funny. He had charm, right? He had swag, he had charisma, and he was professional, right? He never did anything or said anything out of line. So after Aaron presented, everybody went crazy, obviously, and all his people signed up. But he looked at me before we walked out the room. He said, you know what? After seeing that, your presentation sucks. I said, you know what? It don't matter. You're already in, right? And so I say that to say this, okay? Guys, they don't know what a bad presentation or a good presentation looks like because they've never seen one. You guys are creating movies in your head that never make it to the big screen. You're already expecting people to boo, say no, all this other stuff. You're not on purpose, right? Because being on purpose means your mind is right. You come and get ready and prepared, okay? But your story, another part of this, your story, your background, and why you got started, right? Past, present, future. Know that. How'd you grow up, or what'd you do for a living? Okay. Present. What do you do now, and what are you doing in the business? What are your accomplishments in the business? Okay. Oh, I sponsored 2 people in this business. I've never sponsored anybody in my life. That's the story. You know what I've already doubled my money, and I've only been in 3 months. I never did that in any company. Right? I've doubled my money right now with a little mixture of staking and some recruiting, but I've never done that in any other company, right? Whatever your story is, it's a great story. And I'm gonna talk about stories another day. It's a whole entirely different training, but you got to learn how to appreciate your story. Your story is good enough, okay? You have other stories to complement it, right? To reinforce it, but learn how to love your stories. Just like you have to learn how to love yourself. Right? So stories are very, very important, but be conscious of the time, guys. You want to make sure that the lower the rank you are when you're presenting, the less you have to talk about. The higher the rank you are, you have a little bit more cachet, a couple more stories to tell about people you've helped hit certain ranks and certain money levels and stuff like that. And that's needed. But don't come in as a big fish trying to sound like a whale in a small pond. You're not impressing anybody, and it's going to show up, and you're going to blow the room, for you and all your guests, or you and all the people who are in the room who may not even be your guests, okay? So keep in mind that it's your first opportunity to make a connection, guys, with the audience, and take full advantage of it. Be genuine, be authentic, and tell your story. S, the third S, final S, is simplicity. Simplicity, okay? Simplicity is the key, guys. Point and read until you can actually do it by memory. Point and read until you can actually do it by memory. Guys, it keeps you from going down that rabbit hole. Like I said, when you have bullet points, that's why they have slides for people, because they know for a fact that without the slides, we'd be looking at a 2-hour presentation. That's a bad thing. Remember, a person's attention, if you're good, right, is about 30%. You got them for about 30 minutes, rather. If you're great, you can get them for about an hour, because you know how to reset a person and continue to add value over and over and over again. But again, the more you've accomplished, if you're at a position where you're making $10,000 a day, you have a lot to talk about, and you can keep people's interest all day long, right? But if you just got started, don't try to do a 20-minute monologue about how great you are, because that's what it's all about at that point in time. Okay, you have nothing to talk about. Get in the presentation and get out of it. Okay, C, confidence. Guys, have confidence, guys, in you and everything you offer. Have confidence in you and your product, confidence in you and your service, confidence in you and your team, confidence in you and your leader, confidence in you and your system. But again, the one thing that you have to 100% all day, every day have confidence in is you. As your confidence grows, guys, so will your portfolio. As your confidence grows, guys, guess what? The higher quality of people you'll start to attract. People love bold and confident people. Okay? The attitude is important. There's a lot of people right now. There's a love and hate scenario going on with Deion Sanders right now, right? Coach Prime, right? You got some people who want to see him lose because he's brash, he's bold. You got some people who want to see him win because he's won at all levels. He's a winner. People love to see winners, right? And people like to root for people who are rooting for people who are being rooted. Got some people who they'll do it right there in their presentation, right? They have a bad presentation and nobody knew it was a bad presentation. Then they'll let everybody know how bad the presentation was, right? And then you'll have people saying, you know what, I don't want this person to present for me because that person lacks confidence. That person is already thrown up on their presentation and digging up their seeds, and you don't want to be that person. Okay? But have a short memory, guys. You're going to make mistakes. I'm going to just tell you, this is the thing about mistakes, and you might want to write this one down, ingrain this one in your brain. It's okay to make mistakes. You can make 2,000 mistakes. Just don't make the same one, right? Just don't make the same one. Learn from everyone, because you can actually lose your way to the top. You can fail your way to the top. You can make as many mistakes as you can. And I'm gonna tell you, mistakes are a lot of times the best teacher. And you know what? What's better than that? Learning from somebody else's mistakes. Because I watched a lot of people in their dating careers and their marriages and stuff like that. And I'm like the last Mohican with a lot of my buddies. I watched their mistakes and I'm like, I'd never do that. Oh, I'd never say that. Oh, you lost your mind? Oh, yeah. We ain't gonna do that. Nah. I learned from their mistakes, right? So you can learn from our mistakes too. Go back to that presentation a couple weeks ago, see it, look at all the mistakes I made and learn from them. But confidence, closing, always be closing, okay? Always be closing, guys. That's the one thing I love about Grant Cardone. He has trial closes all the way through his stuff. He's going to make sure you're going to have to answer a closing type of question 2, 3, or 4 times, 5, 6, or 7 times. If you're always in the deal, right, you're going to always be close to the close. So you always have a moment where you can come back and say, hey, and you give them that trial close. Okay. Know what you know now, you're ready to get started. Okay. Saying, just whatever it is, always be closing. Trial closes. Again, that was one of the things that I'm like, man, when I learned that did something to me that I can't even explain, because you don't know what you don't know, right? There's a lot of stuff that I heard in his program that I've heard in other places, but it was never explained to me like that in detail. I've never heard anybody do trial closes and teach it to the end. That blew me up, because that gave me a bullet that I add to my artillery that I just say, look, they're gonna have to deal with it now. But great closers cater to their presentations and prospects, guys. I always like to know who's in the room or who's on the Zoom. Okay, what's this person's background? What's their name? What do they want? Right? And I talk to people in the presentation, like, whoa, I asked Dr. Eileen, hey, who we have? Well, we got Dr. Tanya, we got my cousin Tina, we got Arthur, my nephew, and this is Arthur's background as a fire person, Tina's a nurse. And so when I get to a point to where, I might say something like, and you have people who, especially doctors right now, who, they don't get a chance to spend a lot of time with their family. They're working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And nurses are no different. Some nurses are working, 12, hours a day, 10 hours a day. Like I know we have nurses on the phone like Tina, and she can probably relate to this, and so I want to know my audience. And she's looking like, how you know me? Is he talking about me? Right. And so when you know a person's name, you know what they do for a living, and you can actually you can pretty much make them a part of the presentation, okay, indirectly. And that helps your closing ratio because it also gets that person's attention and it makes that person pay more attention to the actual presentation, okay? So always be closing, cancel objections and answer questions during the presentation, okay? Then when you talk about, people when like you hear, us doing presentations about rug pulls. So, when you're looking at a blockchain, an actual public blockchain where you can see everything right there, guys, there's never been a public, blockchain rug pull. That just don't matter. I mean, that's not a thing. Okay. And so you're taking that person's fear away without saying, hey, what do you like best about it? I like this, but is this a rug pull? You don't have to worry about that question because you're taking care of it in the presentation. Okay. Oh, yeah. And so you guys, this thing I love about these wallets, guys, once we take the money off the system, we put it in our wallet, we have access to it, nobody else does. So, I don't have to worry about, asking for CEOs, permission or putting in a request for my money. I can go get it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, get paid and I'm answering objections during the presentation. Think about all of the objections that you get on a regular basis. One, the objections are, self, projected in that presentation. Basically, figure out how to get yourself unstuck. Figure out how to unmess yourself up, basically. Because, again, your worst fears are projected on people. And that's the question they start to ask because they smell it on you. That's something you're not confident in, okay? So the other C is connect often. Each and every last one of you guys can be amazing communicators. That's easy. It comes with repetition, paying attention, being a professional. You can communicate, okay? But I'm gonna tell you something, people who are great at communicating, but don't have a connection, they appear to come off as slick. Just in a lot, if you don't have a connection, you don't know why you're presenting to that person. You don't know why that person's sitting in your audience on your Zoom and anything about that individual. You're not trying to connect with that person. You're just communicating information with that person to get their money. They can feel that. The connection. Remember, there's a book out there by John C. Maxwell, one of my favorite audios. I have the audio and the book, and I think it's on YouTube as well, but everyone communicates, but few connect. Everyone communicates, but few connect. That's why I started learning how to speak Spanish as well, because, when I look at the second most spoken language in the world, which is fastly becoming the first at some point in time, is Spanish. Okay? And when you are speaking to a person in their native language, which is your second language, you're speaking to that person's heart. Okay? They know for a fact that you're putting yourself at risk. They know for a fact that you're uncomfortable, but you're speaking to that individual so you can make them feel comfortable, and they appreciate that. So that's a thing, guys. Like when you look at speaking another language, just for those of you who are speaking another language, there's an intrinsic value to that you cannot replace on anything outside of that. Like that, you can do anything and everything, but it's nothing parallels to that. Okay. And the thing about speaking another language, when you mess up speaking another language, it's the fastest thing that's forgiven because they know what you're trying to say, right? And they don't care that you messed up. They care that you tried, and they'll embrace it anyway. Okay. And so you hear people who speak Spanish, they may say, like, if I'm talking to Forrest and I'm saying Forrest and I'm talking about Dorina, and I said, hey, Forrest, he, because this is how it's like they mess up the he, the she, the masculine, the feminine. Well, guess what? You do the same thing when you speak Spanish. El, everything in A, everything in O. But it's not that you messed up, it's that you tried. You put forth effort, right? And that's all that people care about. Okay. So connecting, all people care about is that you attempt to connect. Okay. All people care about is that you care about them and what they're going through and what they want out of this situation. That's all people care about. So you have to master the art of connecting. If you are a great connector, guys, let me share something with you. Like, There are a lot of great orators in our organization and in this industry, but I actually am more profitable and have more security than many of those people because I have a connection and I've been able to catch up to the communicating part to a lot of them. So when you add the connecting, which is natural, and you put the communicating advancements and evolution on top of it, they can't deal with me. They can't. My leader told me, look, dude, and this is one of the things that triggered it, and one of the things that set me off to just go out here and continue to focus on what I was great at, the things I was making the most money on, things I was making the most strides on, and I was making the most impact on. He said, stop trying to communicate like him. He communicates, but people don't trust him. He said, people trust you, they love you, you have connections with people. He said, continue to work on your connections, and the communicating will come with you putting the information out there repetitiously. He said, you'll catch him one day, even if not on the same level of communicating, but he'll always have a connecting void. People will always trust you. They won't trust him. And that did it for me. That's what leadership does. That's what plugging in and taking advice from people do who have your best interests at heart. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm giving you advice, best believe that you should take it. I'm going to tell you why. Because I have something to lose by giving you bad advice. You don't need a boss. You need somebody who's a mentor, a coach. You don't need somebody who you feel like, this person is trying to stand over you, micromanage you. No, I don't want a job. I just want you to win. Okay? And so I'm giving you advice for a reason. He gave me advice. That advice changed my life. Some of you guys are blocking your blessings with your egos. Okay. I'm just telling you, the fastest way to actually create a disconnect between you and your team and you and your leader is to have an ego and think you know everything. Okay. That's a real big one. I'm talking about connecting. Submission is a great way of connecting. Okay. And submission, when you're submitting, guys, and the leader, and you actually have a leader that you can submit to, that person understands that you're putting yourself vulnerable in a vulnerable position. But this is the thing, guys. It takes a bigger person to submit, right, than it does to receive the submission. Anybody can stand there like you're the boss, right, while somebody's submitting to you. But the person who's actually submitting, saying, hey, you have the information, right? I want those results, teach me. I don't know anything. That person has the most power between the two. Okay? So connecting. H, humility. Humility. No place in this presentation for your ego, guys. Again, I don't care how much money you make, how big you get, stay humble. Okay, I don't care. And I tell you guys this all the time. It normally starts at about between $5,000 to $10,000 a month, right? When you don't get, when you start to get that ego, you start to get that big head, and when it starts to be evident, because when you need something, right? Then you need the information, you need the system, and you need the help. You need the 3 ways, lifelines. You need the system. You're like a sponge, and you just, everything's cool. But the moment you don't need anything, that's when the real you show up. That's when now you can go out there because you can afford to be who you are and who you've always been. They say money is not what corrupts people and makes people bad. People are already bad. They can now just afford to be bad publicly. They can afford now to have an ego publicly. Okay. They can be corrupt publicly now because there's nothing to control them. You can't fire them. Right? But if you're a great person, what? You become a greater person, a better person, a more generous person. Okay. So, but humility, guys, humble people get the most service out of people. Humble people are the people who anybody will go to war for, anybody will serve for. Like you have Joe Coyne. I'll give you a story about Joe Coyne. Some of y'all don't know why I have such an affinity and a love for Joe and respect for Joe. The company I met Joe in, a company called 𝐍𝐎𝐓 way back in the day, and we were on our diamond run. And Joe had just got into the business that day, and I didn't even know Joe, but they did a 3-way phone call with me. And Joe said, hey, and he got Mr. Bean, just met me. Joe, you guys know Joe's about 3 months my senior. So, hey, Mr. Bean, hey, I want to make sure you guys hit your rank, but this is all I got. Okay, I'm not going to tell you the amount, but this is all I got. And he said, hopefully it helps. And that hit me and hit my wife. I was like, man, that touched me. And so for him to do that, not knowing me, that showed me what his spirit was like. And so I've always and forever have been indebted to Joe, period. Always. So when you have people who move like that, just like Jeremy who calls, and it's crazy that Jeremy is in the same group that Joe is in, right? Jeremy called my wife and said, hey, Ms. Bean, I know you, send her a text message, hey, Ms. Bean, I know you are helping people. You're doing 3 ways, lifelines, you help people on board. And if you need some help onboarding people, even if they're not in my team, right, I'll help. People who are humble, guys, people who are servants, okay, those people get the most service. Those people get the most favor. Favor ain't fair. Favor is deserved, right? And I'm going on Carly with all of just always, hosting. She doesn't get paid for hosting, right? But she calls and she'll send me a text message. Ms. Bean, am I hosting for you today? Yes. Because you reached out. Yes. Because it's a privilege to host. Most of y'all don't understand. She's advertising and marketing for her team indirectly. Every time you see her, that's visibility. Every time I edify her, again, she's being rewarded for her humility and her servitude. Dr. Rika, who's at work right now, is always one of the first people to help me build out the groups and all this other stuff. It's, again, just a doctor who makes multiple 6 figures annually, right? Husband's an attorney, very successful attorney. They have a ton of money flowing in that household, right? But when it comes time for her to serve and pay respect, she's one of the most humble people walking the face of the earth. That's why we serve. That's why they have favor, right? So I can go on and on and on about servitude and people who are humble and those type of things. But when you show humility in your presentation, because that's what this is all about, people are compelled to come closer to you, to want to hear more from you, want to get to know you. Excuse me. Okay, so when it comes to humility, Dr. Arlene said it earlier. One of the nuggets that she got is one of my favorite nuggets when it comes to me in my evolution. I automatically assume that everybody in the room knows more than me when I go into a room. So if there are people who are in my presentation, I automatically assume that there are people in my presentation who make more than me. I automatically assume that there's somebody on the line who has contacts that make more than me, who are more affluent than me or more well-spoken to me. Because that always puts me in a position where I stay grounded. And it's easier for me to connect at that point. Another H, honesty. Stop embellishing. She's gonna find you out anyway. They're gonna think you're a horrible presenter or a liar, one of the two. Do your fact checking. And when you hear something on a presentation, get the number right. That's why you should take notes, because some of you guys, you'll get on here and you'll hear me on the presentation, you'll hear me say something here, 𝐭𝐲𝐬 say something here, one of these presenters say something, and then because you wasn't really paying attention, you come up with your own numbers. Okay? You come up with your own information. And that's not good. You can't do that in court, right, Dorena? You got to have all the facts, right? Yeah. So, as I thought, the truth is good enough, guys. No need to embellish. Integrity is what it is. That's why I say your story is good enough. If you think you have a small story, tell it so you can see how big it really is. Don't embellish your story, because they'll find out. Okay. I was just talking to 𝐭𝐲𝐬 the other day. He had a guy that was running around telling everybody he was the SVP and he's a VP. He's just been expecting to go SVP for the last 2 or 3 weeks, but he's been telling everybody he's SVP already. And they got back to some of the people who who he was presenting to. And later said, I can't, because when 𝐭𝐲𝐬 came on and edified him as a VP, he got exposed. So I thought she was SVP. Nah, I'm almost a VP. Well, you've been saying you're SVP for the last 3 weeks. All right. And so That's important, guys. Again, the facts are what they are. Okay. Again, the truth is good enough. And you'll be all right. Can I get a coffee, please? Please, something. So honesty. Educate. E is educate. And for my greens, my analytical people, my greens, guys, don't turn this into a seminar, right? So you want to make sure you keep it to the point to where you're telling the facts when needed. You're telling just enough of the fact, like you want to say, you want to get in, when you got to hit some numbers, hit the numbers. Boom, 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 boom. Hit them numbers. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. But then get out of there. Lighten it up. Okay. Loosen up a little bit. You don't want to have the people going to sleep. You don't want to have people thinking of a seminar. You want to keep it interesting, but strategically place your facts within that presentation. Strategically place your numbers within that presentation. Okay. And what you're going to do is you're going to want to get your facts from your app. There's a lot of facts on your app, guys. Like there's some things that, like when you look at the source code and stuff like that, there's a lot of things on the app that I didn't know anything about that Lakeland was teaching me about. Got a lot of little buttons on your app, like pin swap, stuff like that, all the stuff that's coming. There's a lot of stuff on it. You just click on some stuff. You can't really break nothing. Just make sure you ain't in your wallet when you're clicking on stuff. so I don't want that text message or that email or that phone call. But open some stuff up, right? And take a look at some stuff. Move around in there and see what you really got your hands on. But also go Google some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Start educating yourself on, the blockchain. Educate yourself on fintech, the financial technology arena. Educate yourself on, the company that you have and the competition that's around it. And if you just went to the top 10 of blockchains and you took those top 10 and you compared those top 10 to SCF, what you'll find is that we're so unique and we've learned everything from everybody that we are going to break records that they never even imagined that they could break. I'm just telling you guys that that's, and the facts, the fact is nobody can compete with us. The fact is we just don't have enough social proof yet. Fact is we just don't have enough people in yet. Fact is that once this thing kicks up enough dust, then you'll start to see this grand bum rush of people coming into the system and money hit the system. As you have zero idea what you really have your hands on, because if you did, all y'all have 30 or 40 people in the business already. Really. Trust me. Some of you don't believe, and that's fine, because I don't expect you to believe right away. This is too foreign for you. This whole entire situation is a drip campaign, right? Just for the record. Think about it. When I first got in network marketing, I came kicking, scratching, spitting, biting, fighting. I don't forget how much of a problem I was for the people who sponsored me when I first joined network marketing, right? Because I didn't understand it, didn't want to be a part of it, and I was scared of it. So what makes me think that you guys are any different than I was? No, that's why I drip, that's why I do my thing, and that's why I'm patient. Remember, when you look at that list of billionaires and millionaires, patience is number 3 on the billionaire list and number 5 on the millionaire list. But what I have to do when I'm being patient is I have to continue to educate myself. I have to continue to evolve on my platform. I have to continue to get better so I can represent, my message. I can represent my company. I can represent my group, my system. I have to be able to grow while that person is coming around. Guys, again, timing is a thing. Stop rushing people. Okay? Timing is a thing. Stop forcing. The only reason you're forcing people and you're rushing people is because you're not talking to enough people. You're hoping this one person get in and save your life. You're hoping this one person get in and make you $1 million. Stop being lazy. Stop being scared and fearful. Go to work. This is when work really works. You can work your way out of a job right here. Real talk. Okay? I'm just telling you, think about it. Laura, you build a team so big that you can't even take the money out of the system fast enough. Somebody needs it. And when they need it, they're paying 100% value for the money. No taxes are being paid on it. Right? So you think about that for a second. You got people who are making $10,000 a day right now, and they don't have anything to do with it except for sell a crypto to somebody else. That money goes to their bank account or to their crypto wallet or whatever. Some of you guys are costing yourself a fortune. Remember, every mistake you make, and procrastination is a huge mistake, every mistake you make will cost you hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars in this platform. Okay? You just don't know it yet. When you grow a big group and you start looking at the mistakes that your team is making, you say, man, it cost them a lot. Then you realize, man, I made that same mistake, and how much money it really costs you now, because you understand, because you're seeing it from a 50-foot view instead of right here, eye level with everybody else. You'll see what I'm talking about. So educate yourself, guys, on your process. Okay. But when you're in a presentation, strategically place your education. Okay. Entertaining. So when you're entertaining, you're giving humor, guys. You're not, don't make it a comedy show. This is one of those things, again, you don't want to overdo it. It's like you don't want to over-educate. You don't want to over-entertain. This is not a comedy show. So you'll see me every once in a while place a strategically, appropriate joke. Even if it's about myself, like the story was a story, but it's also a joke. It's entertainment, right? I want to make sure that when I use a joke, it's normally to bring you guys back from a very serious conversation I just had, okay? Or when I tell a joke, it's probably to bring home a point, okay? Jokes are kind of like explosions and bright lights, okay? If you ever notice, like all the old commercials and stuff like that, they used to have like the Pepsi commercial, Super Bowl commercial, and they had Michael Jackson on there, and they said Pepsi, boom, a choice of a new generation, and boom, you start seeing all the, and they said a choice of a new generation. As soon as generation hit, boom, that's when all the explosions and everything went off. That's when they were doing what they call anchoring, okay? You can use entertainment and jokes as a form of anchoring to actually drive home a point, okay? And some of you should be writing that down, if not all of you, if you're serious, okay? But strategically place your jokes, strategically entertain. Evolve, okay? If I am in, your audience, and I've seen more than one presentation, I should see the same presentation. I should see a different presentation. I should see it evolving, right? I should see the growth in your presentation. The evolution of information, the evolution of stories, okay? I should also see the evolution of your portfolio based on how many different people you have doing testimonials based on achievement, okay? Evolution. Your presentation has to grow and take a life of its own, okay? Let's see here. But study the best to become the best, okay? What are you doing in your presentations that's costing you money? That's a question for yourself, right? How many presentations are you actually doing? Are you doing enough presentations to even get better at presenting? Okay. Again, huge. How can I do it with the authority and integrity that I need to, be successful? So when you look at the authority and the integrity, guys, again, it comes from you actually getting results. It comes from you actually making it happen and helping people out. But you actually have to have an insatiable desire to grow as a presenter and a speaker, guys. Basically a leader, okay? M, this is the last thing right here, guys. This is the very last thing here. M is move to action, okay? What do you want them to do when they leave? What message do you want to deliver? What mission do you want them to embark on, right? When you see our presentations, one of the last slides, it tells the person what they should do next. All right. Get the link from who? The person who invited you, not from the app store. Get your coins, get this, get that, prepare for this, prepare. It tells you that's the end. Move to action. That's the very next thing you're supposed to do. Enroll or prepare to enroll, when it comes to getting your money and your coins and chips and stuff together. But the very first thing that you got to do is you got to open up a wallet because it's free. Everybody can afford free. There should not, guys, listen to what I'm about to say. There should not be one person that you should ever present to who should not have a wallet right now. I don't care what's in it. Everybody who's watched a presentation, that you've shown them a presentation, they've seen a presentation, they should have a wallet right now. That should be the only thing they should never have to have when you actually enroll them, unless it's the first time. They should all have a wallet. If it's a follow-up, great. You got a wallet. Let's follow up. Let's catch up this week, next week. Let's catch up 1 day, 2 days, whatever it is. But make sure they have a wallet, guys. Make sure they have something that they can log into and go kick around and go play around in, and they can kind of look around in. And so that helps, gives them something. They leave that presentation with something. A person should leave a presentation with something 100% of the time. I don't care. Like when we did coffee, you left the presentation with coffee. You bought it wholesale. 5 years later, $600,000 worth of coffee being sold in an organization I stopped building 5 years ago. That's because all my presentations were on purpose. You never left a presentation without a box of coffee or two, right? Or a sample of coffee or two. But 9 times out of 10, you bought it wholesale. You left the presentation with something. We always make sure you left the presentation with something. If you got signed up, and you walked away with one of our training CDs for free. Like if it was if you got one of the mid packs or the high packs, you walked away with that training presentation for free. I bought it for you. So here's your gift to you today, your free wallet. Since we got an appointment time, we're gonna get back together tomorrow or whatever it is. Let's go ahead and get this app signed up. It's real simple. Let's go ahead and put you in the system. Okay, don't need no money today. We'll work on that later on. Okay, but this is where you give them the mission, guys. This is where you actually make sure they understand the vision. Again, recap the vision, let them know what we're about to do. Project 10,000. You want to be one of those 10,000 families that make it to $5,000 a month, or you want to be one of the people who help us and you get to $5,000 a day. That's a great option. Just came up with it. You might want to write that down. As a matter of fact, Laura, I know you're going to write that down, right? You want to be one of those people who get $10,000 a month, or you want to be one of those people who help people get to $5,000 a month and you get to $5,000 a day. Okay. So again, that's the vision. First movers advantage. Also, let people know that, hey, guys, the way we build, we can only have 5 on our top line. Okay. And so you can be one of those top 5. And guess what I have to do? I have to find 2 people out of my top 5 that I can build on. You want to go ahead and get one of those top 5 spots right now, and I'll work with you. And if you do everything I ask you to, you follow all my instructions without deviating from the plan, this is what I'll do. Guess what I'll do for you? I will actually start to build under you, Ivan. I'll put you in a position where now you're building with your resources, Ivan, and you're also building with mine. Okay? So you get in here, you start sponsoring people, you start working with Earl, and y'all start putting some people in. I'm going to start building up under you. So you're incentivizing people to go ahead and go to work, right? You're incentivizing people to go ahead and go build. Take that first mover's advantage position and do something with it. And there's a chance that I'll come under you now. You experience something that most people have ever received, which is what they call spillover. And guess what? When you receive spillover from me, you have to sponsor me. So you get a chance to get 15% on everything that I invest, Ivan, 10% on everything that the people I put in invest. But guess what, Ivan? You're going to also have somebody who's going to be working toward going GM under you. So all you got to do is continue to do what you're doing, go GM in another leg, you be VP. How's that sound? Next thing you know, I'm ready. You see him? Y'all saw Ivan, right? Ivan said, yeah, I got it. All right, let's go to work then. And so that's what happens. So that's again, M, move to action. Don't just tell a person to sign up, give them a reason to. Don't just tell a person to go to work, give them some incentive to. Campaign for them to come to their own rescue. Okay? Campaign for them to come to their own rescue. And then make sure, again, any promotions that are going on, any trips, anything that's going on, make sure that they know about it. Okay? Anything that they can participate in, give them an option and say, yeah, that's great. I'll take that, or no, I'm good. Don't make decisions for them, because some of y'all treat Grant Cardone like, because you don't see the value in it, that somebody else won't see the value in it. And when they figure out how valuable it really is 2 or 3 months down the line, and you didn't tell them about it, you start to lose the ability to lead them because you didn't give them everything that was available to them. I'm a grown man. I'm 52. I don't need you to make decisions for me. I'm at this meeting for a reason. When people go visit college campuses, they're going to interview the college. They're trying to figure out if that's the college that they want. And when they say, hey, look, you sold me on the college, right? But you got my money, right? I didn't get a scholarship. I didn't get a grant. You got my money, but you didn't tell me where to go to buy the books. You didn't give me my schedule to get to class. All you did was take my money. And that's how I'm going to look at you in this business. If you don't give me all the information that's required for me to win, okay, you just sign me up for my money. And that's how people think about you when you do stuff like that. So don't put yourself in a position to be exposed, okay? Go out here and get out of your comfort zone and stop thinking with your own wallet. If you tight in your wallet because money's tight, everybody's money ain't tight. If you tighten your wallet because that's just how you are, everybody's not like that. Some people are willing to invest in themselves. Some people are willing to invest in more than just a hairdo or a haircut, right? Because some of y'all invest more on the outside of y'all here than y'all do on the inside, and you believe that everybody else is like that. Okay, so again, move to action and move out the way. That's the other end. Move out the way. Because some of you guys, again, are capping the earning potential of the people who you bring in. Some of you guys are making decisions that are so bad, you're going to make sure everybody in your group stay broke. Some of you, again, are in the way, and you're in the way because of your fears. You're trying to protect people and you're hurting people. Just move out the way. Watch the system in motion. Just trust the system, trust the process, move out the way, and watch something happen, okay, as opposed to preventing it from happening. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So what I'll do right now, I got about 5 to 10 minutes, Dr. Arlene. Guys, if y'all have any questions, put question and then put a question in the chat. And when it comes to tonight's topics, because I want to make sure you guys understand this. This is a topic that I'm passionate about, because again, the more of you who actually get into presenting mode and exposing mode, the more people we become. You know, we can actually get that helps me get to Project 10,000 and get that thing knocked out. But for those of you who are competitive, get with your buddies who are competitive as well. And this is the type of competition we used to have back in the day. Was we have competitions to figure out who we can get to start presenting the fastest. Person get in and bam. Okay, I got somebody presenting next day, same day, 2 days, 3 days from now, 2 weeks from now, it don't matter. The next person, let's see who can get people to present the fastest, empower people the fastest, prepare people the fastest, right? Because when you do that, again, you're not on the front line doing them all yourself. You got people on the front line with you, and they're out there in the trenches with you. So if we have any questions, guys, go ahead and put question in there, and otherwise, we'll call it a night. But Dr. Arlene, you see anything out there?
No, sir, I do not. I've checked Facebook and on Zoom.
Okay. So that means that I guess everything was well articulated. All right. So guys, again, make sure each and every last one of you guys go out there and do your part. Okay. Make sure that you guys are, let's see here.
There is one question, sir.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh, okay. What's that question? Then I'll get to Mrs. Beans. She's got some stuff that she wants me to make announcements on. Go ahead.
When building your confidence, is it a good idea to have micro habits?
No, it's a great idea, because one of the micro habits is just do it. And I'm gonna just tell you right now, the more and more what I do is I actually build my confidence by having conversations also. Like, you can take the content that's in a presentation and have a conversation with people about it. Right, you know what I'm saying? So you can ask the person, hey, did you understand? Do you know what blockchain is? And I'm curious, I'm just learning this stuff. You know, do you know what a blockchain is? You know what a public block, difference between a regular blockchain and public blockchain? Yeah, you know what a stable coin is and versus another coin that moves. And you just ask people questions, have conversations with people, and talk to them about what you just figured out or what you just found out. Right? And when you do that, again, that's repetitious conversations. You're now feeding their brain with information accurately. And so now you're putting yourself in a position where when you start to talk about it and you get on that slide, it comes out naturally, it comes out free because you're already communicating in a non-threatening format. Like you were having a conversation about it and you turn into a conversation, a Q&A or something where you get a chance to use it. Okay? Even if it's with your spouse, just have a little dialogue. Man, did you understand that? I didn't know that if it was a public blockchain that people could actually go and they got access to build their own businesses and stuff on top of it. I didn't understand that. Now I see why institutions are going to become the consumers. Now I see why the banks are going to become their consumers. I didn't know it. This stuff is crazy. Did you know? And just have conversations with people. But the other thing is the micro habit that I love the most when it comes to presenting is pointing and reading. And the other micro habit I love is watching presentations with people and taking notes while you're watching with them and letting them see you take notes. Yeah. Remember, when you're writing it down, guys, not typing it down, it's going up here. And you're telling yourself everything you write multiple times before you get to the punctuation. Okay. So you're repeating that sentence in your head over and over and over until that sentence is done. Then you're off to the next sentence. That's why you actually remember 80% of the stuff that you write down versus 20% of the stuff that you hear. That's why I take better notes than everybody. I'm blue, I have to. My notes are fun. I have colors, everything is online. I have different fonts that I write in. But it helps me remember. It helps me, literally, bring things back up to the surface and keep it right where I need it, like a wealth file. Yeah. That I can access at any time. So micro habits, again, are a great way to go out there and build confidence. Remember, anytime fear leaves, confidence, increases, right? So every time you take an action and do something, fear dies, confidence increases. So one presentation is still a micro habit. Just doing the presentation, and not worried about, like if you're doing presentations, having conversations, and you're not worried about how bad the presentation is because you're pointing and reading, and then you're doing a three-way afterwards, right? So your leader can actually clean it up for you and make sure they get all the questions answered properly or clean up anything that you may have gotten wrong. That's why you can be okay with making mistakes because you have an expert standing by. But some of you guys want to be the expert. That's a bad micro habit. Not doing a three-way every time you do a presentation is a micro habit. It's just a negative one. Not asking for advice is a micro habit. Every time you do a presentation, every time you make a decision and you make your own advice when you're not qualified to, and you don't know the right way to make that decision, that's a micro habit. It's just a bad one. Remember, when you take an action, it's going to have a positive or a negative result attached to it. And a lot of us already know what that result's going to be, but we do it anyway. That's what we're comfortable with. Let's see here. www.ForeSight.mg.com. Okay, so that's our team website. So the GM Factory registration, guys, only your VPs and above can register on that website. So I know Ms. Bean put that information up there, but she wants to make sure that that they actually have what ForeSight-MG.com. There you go. Come over here so they can hear your beautiful voice. And just turn around and read. There you go.
ForeSight-MG.com. You could now do your banner registration for GMs. However, VPs will have to do the banners for your GMs. Okay. Make certain when you're registering, have a decent / professional headshot for your pictures. So that way we can market for you, advertise for you, and put you on blast. And then also you could now register for GCU online. at ForeSight-MG.com as well. And you could also get your details and your information for the cruise with the beans on ForeSight-MG.com.
That's what I'm talking about. Earn your keep. All right, guys. So with that being said, guys, she really like a doctor. She really like, you know what I'm saying? She really like Dr. Arlene. So like, hey, like, I know, Doc, I know. So, hey guys, man, y'all know what it is. You know what I mean? We love to see you guys win. We really do want you guys to go out here and become the best forms of yourselves that God created you, you know, to become, or your creator created you to become. Let's go out here and take full advantage of this opportunity. But it's not necessarily just the opportunity to make a ton of money in this process. It's the opportunity to become more valuable as a human being while you're doing so. And I'll close with this, like the late great Jim Rohn says, become a millionaire for the person that demands you become in that process. Guys, don't do it for the money. Do it for the person that you know for a fact you have to become in order to make it happen. So love you guys. And as always, see you. We don't know what we did to deserve you guys, but we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that we get you guys, you know, all the information, all the support and everything else that you need to get to the top, get your goals and dreams accomplished. And so next week, Monday night, same line, same time, more people. All right. And tomorrow we got Dr. Arlene over here, let's say on the wheels of steel. I'm just kidding. Dr. Arlene will be over here presenting, again, serving the team, doing her thing. So y'all make sure y'all fill up those lines with some people who want to see an amazing presentation about somebody who has a ton of credit and credibility. All right. So again, let's pack out that call. See you guys later. Take care. Good night.
Record.